For some reason, all you people out there love to hear about real estate. So we're going to tell you about real estate. This is New York City real estate and rents. And real estate here, Dawn.
Hey.
I'm going to get your Wotapka.
Wotapka.
I gave it a shot.
It's a tough one.
I gave it a shot. Dawn, you had a very interesting piece out today.
Thank you.
About how rents. I mean, if people outside of New York City read this piece, they're not going to believe it, right? The average rent, median rent in New York City is around $3,500 right now?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling that people pay that much.
What is it,
in
about
rent.
$3,500?
But it is $3,429.
$3,429. Now, to put that in perspective, the average, the median income of a U.S. family household is something around $50,000 right now, right?
Yes.
On an after-tax basis, they couldn't even pay the rent.
They could not live in Manhattan.
They couldn't pay the rent. That's
Right.
forget live in Manhattan. They couldn't eat.
Right.
They would kind of get their one-bedroom apartment, and they'd sit there and they'd look at each other. They couldn't pay for the cable bill.
Right.
They couldn't pay for the takeout Chinese food. I mean, they would be miserable. What does this say about New York that even in spite of the huge downturn in Wall Street over the last few years, rents continue to rise?
It's just, New York is a city that's unlike any other. I mean, people want to live here. People want to pay thousands of dollars a month for a closet. You know, I've seen people who live in pull-out beds that barely have enough space for a dresser.
It's like that Seinfeld episode. I don't know if you ever saw that Seinfeld episode where a bunch of Japanese visitors come to visit, and he ends up putting them in, I think it's Kramer's dresser drawer, which is one of the great episodes. But that's neither here nor there. Why is it that vacancy rates in New York are so low? In your piece, you point out that vacancy rates in New York are something a little over 1%. You go to Las Vegas, it's like a 7% vacancy rate.
There's not a lot of room to construct here. Building is very expensive in New York City. And after the financial crisis, we didn't see a lot of new stuff going up. So add in all these people who want to rent apartments mixed with not a lot of apartments up for grabs, and you've got a landlord's market.
You know, I go to places like Tribeca or Soho. I live on the Upper West Side.
Okay.
But I go down to Soho, Tribeca, or even say Gramercy Park area, and I am overwhelmed on a given during the week. Put aside the weekend. During the week, the number of people kind of in their, let's say, early 20s to early 30s to mid 30s.
Right.
Not even people who have kids necessarily, but just the restaurants and the area. Where are all these people deriving their income from? If Wall Street is having such a tough time, who is, does everybody work at the Huffington Post or AOL or something? Where are all these people getting their money?
Well, Wall Street is doing a little better. We're seeing some hiring, and although law firms, there's some trouble there, there's still big law firm jobs that these 20-somethings are getting, and they can afford to pay the rent in Manhattan.
Right. And what does it say if the stock market actually goes up? Because, I mean, it has gone up recently, but it's been kind of treading water for most of the, let's say, the last couple of years at least. Will the market get even worse? I mean, if Wall Street actually experiences a resurgence, will you see even higher inflation in terms of rents here in New York City?
Well, from what I'm hearing, everybody thinks that rents are going to continue to rise. I mean, of course, with a 1% vacancy, you don't have many units up for grabs. And, I interviewed agents yesterday who were telling me that they advise people to bring their paperwork and bring their money with them when they go to work. Bring it and do the deal quickly.
Bring the cash and get ready to sign. A little bit of a feeding frenzy,
yeah,
perhaps.
it's crazy out there.